as a fighter, we have a responsibility to show the ref. We can't just expect the ref to give us the benefit of the doubt and for him to do us a favor and just go, oh, now I'm sure Parker's fine.
On Saturday, of course, over in London at the O2, it was a tremendous fight as far as heavyweight boxing is concerned. Perhaps the best fight of the year. It was one that we were looking forward to. There was obviously a lot at stake. It was at the O2. It was the pride of Ipswich going up against the pride of Auckland. It was Fabio Wardley against Joseph Parker, and it was for the WBA and WBO interim heavyweight titles. In the end, Wardley wins via 11th round TKO, and it would appear as though he has punched his ticket to the big fight against Olekandr Usyk, but Usyk could just, even though the WBO has ordered that fight, he could just say, like, peace, I'm out of here, and do whatever he wants. So let's see what it all turns into. For now, though, let us speak to the man who scored that big win on Saturday in London, the one and only Fabio Wardley, kind enough to join us on this Tuesday evening. Hello, Fabio. How are you?
I'm good. How's things? How are you doing?
All good. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it, and congratulations on what I would think, at least from afar, and I'd love your take on this, the biggest moment, the biggest day of your professional life, would you say? I know you recently became a dad, so congratulations. I would never put anything over something like that, but would you say that was the greatest moment of your career so far?
Yeah, of course, 1000%. Especially professionally within my career, there's not been a bigger fight I've had, not a bigger moment, not more at stake. So yeah, look, everything was on the line on Saturday and it was a fantastic night.
How were you feeling going into it? Were you feeling that pressure? Were you feeling those stakes? You have been in big fights before. You just fought at Portman Road against Justice Hooney, all that stuff and more, the Clark fight, all that. But were you feeling the step up in terms of stakes and competition?
In terms of the fight itself, I actually felt really relaxed, really calm. Camp had gone fantastic. I'd felt really good going into the fight. My body felt good. Conditioning, fitness, everything was hitting the right mark. So actually, I felt really good. That coupled with kind of the weight off my shoulders in terms of the expectation. Obviously, coming into this fight, I was definitely not the favorite. Everyone was pretty much picking Parker to win, take me out, maybe around the midpoint, something like that. No one really had much expectation of what I would do in this fight. So yeah, the kind of weight was off my shoulders. I could just float into this fight and do my thing.
Did it bother you that some were dismissing you? Did it bother you that the talk was, Parker wins, he'll get Usyk? Any of that stuff motivate you?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely didn't bother me. It was more the motivation factor of like, okay, fine, no worries. Just seeing the names, the lists of how everyone thinking, okay, Fabio's going to be done in 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds. Okay, he's not going to last. He's not going to be able to lace up Parker's boots. He's not going to be able to hold his own. All of those things were just kind of mental logs for me throughout camp. I was like, okay, cool. Everyone wait. I'll show you. It's no problem.
Much was made of the fact that Parker should have probably fought Usyk. For whatever reason, the fight didn't happen until he fights you. Were you surprised that he took this fight, that he risked it all against you?
Look, yes and no. Because one, I know what type of fighter Parker is. I know what type of man he is. He's ambitious, he's keen, and he's not shy of anyone at all. You know that from the resume of the fighters he's got on there. He's never shied away from a fight. So I didn't really think that he would be one to turn me down. Obviously, there might be hesitations considering the position he found himself in and where he was and edging his way to a fight of Olekandr Usyk. I think no one could really begrudge him trying to work his way towards that. But him being the man he is, he took it, and all credit to him for that.
What did you make, especially in the early goings? You're in there with Joseph Parker, who's a seasoned veteran, who's on a great run as of late. Much was made of the linking up with Andy Lee and transforming him. Was he as you expected? Did anything surprise you about his technique, his power, anything about him, or was it kind of as you were dreaming and expecting going into it?
No, it all kind of felt as I thought it would. Look, the intensity of the fight, the pace of the fight, all of those things all kind of hit the mark. Like, you're in the big leagues, but I feel like I've been there. I feel like I'm used to it. It's nothing new to me. I do like to maintain that pressure and keep an energetic fight going. So whether it's against someone like a Joseph Parker or not, it wasn't a realm I wasn't unfamiliar with being in.
I want to be transparent with you, and I don't want to hide behind my feelings. I have been quite open about the fact that I thought that it was an early stoppage. In fact, I went as far as to say I thought it was an absurd stoppage. I don't think that by saying that, and I hope you don't take it personally, and I really appreciate you being here, I'm not taking anything away from you. I think you're an incredible fighter who has deserved this opportunity, and your fights have been phenomenal. But I thought that Joseph deserved a little bit more time, considering where he was in the fight and considering his career and how the fight was going. I'd love to give you a chance to respond and tell me why I'm an idiot for feeling this way, because I was quite open about it. And honestly, I do really appreciate you coming on with those feelings being so out there.
No, of course. Look, you and many other people, and this is nothing I hold against anyone. Everyone's allowed their opinion. Everyone's seeing it back. No one's there in real time. No one is Joseph Parker on the end of those punches, feeling those hits. And I know everyone takes it as, yeah, okay, he was up in the fight, and it was a championship fight with how much was on the line. He deserves an extra go of it and a bit more time and this, that, and the other. But actually, when you look into it, the accumulation of punches he was taking, not only in the 11th, but also in the 10th as well, it was really kind of showing the sway of the fight and the way things were going. And it was only going one way. And yeah, okay, look, even if you concede and maybe you give him some more time, there's still a minute and a half left in the round. Now, I'm still on top. I'm still throwing punches. And look, for all that's on the line, I know everything that's at stake as well. And if everyone thinks that for the last minute or so of the round that I've got Joseph Parker hurt and I'm just going to take the round off and now relax and chill out, you don't know me at all. That's not how I'm going to go about things. I get the finish. I get the job done one way or another. So that's not to say that Parker is a great fighter, a great competitor, great to have on the night. But that fight by that point was only going one way.
One thing that I brought up as far as the finishing, there's no doubt that you were pouring it on, but the last punch that you threw, it looked like, at least from the vantage point, it looked like it missed. And I was surprised that Howard Foster would jump in with the last thrown punch being what appeared to have missed the target. Do you understand what I'm saying there? And do you understand why some people, including myself, would feel like maybe we needed to see a little bit more?
Yeah, of course, and it's much easier for everyone to look back at it in slow mo and go, well, that didn't clip him properly, and the one before did and didn't, and actually he was riding it better. But ultimately, the ref is there in the heat of the moment, and although Parker is taking some shots on the gloves, that impact is still carrying through. He's still buzzed, he's still rocked, he's still a bit uneasy on his feet, so he's not nowhere in an entirely safe position, and ultimately, as a fighter, we have a responsibility to show the ref. We can't just expect the ref to give us the benefit of the doubt and for him to do us a favor and just go, now I'm sure Parker's fine, or I'm sure Fabio's fine. He'll be able to carry on for another 10, 15, 20 seconds, whatever it may be. We have a responsibility as fighters to show the ref as like, look, I'm still in the fight. I'm still here. I'm still game. I can still exchange.
Are you annoyed by any of this talk? Like when you see pundits like me speaking, do you want to smash our heads? Do you feel like it's taking away from your victory? I don't blame you if you do. You're the one out there involved in a war. Does any of it get you? Does any of it bother you? And if it does, I do apologize. That's not where it's coming from.
No, look, thank you. I appreciate it. But no, it doesn't upset me. It doesn't offend me. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's no problem for me whatsoever. Again, I just ask that people don't take away from what actually I achieved on the night, because going into that fight, no one even gave me a hope. No one gave me a chance. Everyone thought I'd be done for within 2, 3, 4 rounds, whichever else. So it's fair for everyone to say what they want to say about the stoppage, but just make sure that's followed by praising the accomplishment of the achievement.
That's 100% fair. I was curious, on the broadcast, Adam Smith said that at that point, 11th round, you were down 6 rounds on one scorecard, down 2, and then tied on the 3rd. How do you feel about those 2, and in particular, the down 6 rounds? Did you feel like the margin was that wide?
Nah, definitely not. Look, I think for me, kind of my story now is being heavily told and my background and things like that, but also kind of the style of my fighting doesn't seem to lend well to judges and the way they kind of pick rounds and things like that. But also, I think that coupled with the fact that going into this fight, I was the heavy underdog, and it was so expected that Joe was just going to outbox me, teach me a lesson, take me to school, just completely whitewash me in the fight. So in some of those rounds that, look, I think between me and Joe, we've both said the fight was ebbing and flowing. It was back and forth. I was on top in moments. He was on top in other moments. And that lends to a relatively even fight. But in those even moments, I think a lot of those judges were giving Joe the nod because of kind of all that previous pedigree, background, and all that previous talk that he came into the fight with. So when I go into a fight, it's a bit of a hard one for me to expect the judges to kind of fall on my side in the sense of judging around in my favor.
And by the way, how are you dealing with all this newfound fame? I know how big boxing is in the UK, and you represent Ipswich, and the football club is so proud of you and really shines a spotlight on you. Like when you go back home now, when you go back to your neighborhood, is it suffocating? Is everyone coming up to you? How has it been?
No, I wouldn't call it suffocating. Look, it's a privilege, it's a pleasure because it's so nice for everyone to be so supportive and everyone be behind me and all to express that they watched the fight and their excitement and they were with their friends and cheering and this, that, and the other. It's a privilege for me to be at the front of things like that. But for me, it's just treating life normal. It's not getting too carried away with things. Look, I got home on the Sunday. There was still dishes that needed to be done on the side. There's still a baby that needs looking after who doesn't care whether I'm champion of what or who. It treats me all the same. So normal life for me, nothing too different.
And your baby, that's your firstborn, right?
Yeah, my first one.
So all the stuff that's happening to you this year, from fighting at Portman Road to the O2 against Parker. This is a guy who you said you remember watching him, while you're sat in a pub. He's winning his first title. You haven't even started your pro career yet. Your journey. You're a white collar boxer. This has been talked about. Who turned into this great champion now? Is this all surreal? Like how are you digesting all of this past year for you in particular? It seems like so many great things are happening. How are you processing all of it?
Yeah, I think 2025 will definitely be a year I remember for the rest of my life. There's been so many peaks of this year. Obviously, my first one being born, fight at Portman Road, obviously winning that in dramatic fashion, and then following on to this fight as well. A dramatic fight for a variety of reasons, and then becoming WBO interim champion and lining up for a fight with Usyk. There's just so many things this year has had in store for me. So, yeah, I'm just trying to ride the wave and enjoy it.
How confident are you that your next fight is against Olekandr Usyk?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident. Look, I know him and his team came out maybe a week or so before the fight and said, look, they were keeping a close eye on the fight and they were keen to take on the winner, whether it be me or Joe. And look, I've spent some time with them. I know them as a team, and I believe them to be men of their word, and I think that's something they will follow up on. But ultimately, Usyk is the big dog of the division at the moment. He does run the game, so it is up to him or whatever he wants to do.
You've trained with him in the past, right?
Yeah, I did. I did two sparring camps out in Ukraine with him.
Wow. And what was that like? And how long ago was that?
It was probably about 2017, 2018. So it was a good while ago, a good 7, 8 years ago. I was only 3, 4 fights into maybe my professional career, something like that. So again, still very green, very novicey, very much kind of finding my feet and learning my way. But it was a fantastic experience. The first time I really went away for a sparring camp. But I guess I must have done something to impress him first time around because he had me back for a second go at things. So yeah, it was great to share the ring with him, sparring and learn and just pick things up from such an early point of my career.
What's interesting about that is you've improved exponentially since then. Do you think he's also improved that much since then as well?
Yeah, look, I think the rate of improvement between us is a bit different considering where I started
Yeah.
and where he was in terms of when he entered professional boxing. The gaps kind of we had to make up are very different. But if you pick from where he was back when I was sparring him, he was I think he was going into his fight with Tony Bellew. And you can see massive improvements from that to where he is now. So, look, both of us have had a huge rise in the sport.
Frank Warren, your promoter, said that he thinks this can sell out Wembley. Do you agree with him? And is that where you'd like this fight to happen?
Yeah, look, I agree. The draw that is Alexander Usyk does a good job of helping that along the way, and then the entertainment factor that you get with me in terms of a fight. Look, I don't know a Fabio Wardley fight that hasn't been valued for money, and that's whether it ends in the first round or whether it ends in the 10th, 11th, or 12th, whichever way it goes. But you're going to get your money's worth because it's entertaining. I'm a fighter for the fans. I want my name to be attached with excitement to people to see my name at the top of a poster, a billboard, whichever else, and go, I want to watch that Fabio Wardley fight because he's always good, he's always entertaining. So those two things mixed together, all the belts on the line, undisputed, all of that, everything all wrapped up in one on top of a nice bow for Wembley, I think that does the job.
Did you even allow yourself to dream that big, or is this now all exceeding your own expectations, like Wembley, undisputed? Did you even allow your mind to go there as you were climbing the ranks?
Definitely not in the early days, no. Especially when I first started out, it was more of a case of, look, I'm happy to be here. Let me kind of take it as it comes. I just want to be involved in the sport. I love the game. And as things progressed, as I got better, as I progressed, I kind of looked around and said, you know what, I can do something here. I'm good. I can keep up with these boys to the left and to the right of me. All I need is the right opportunity to be able to prove myself, and I'll show people.
Realistically, when do you think this happens? If it is in Wembley, it would probably have to be spring, summer, right?
I think that's the most likely kind of time period. It's not going to happen anytime in the immediate future, anytime soon. Something like that. It's going to take a bit of time, bit of building, and you want the kind of full rollout for a big fight like that.
Any injuries after Saturday?
No, actually,
Wow.
I'm surprisingly good. Everything actually is really nice. Like, I don't get me wrong, I got a few bumps, bruises, whichever else, but actually, aside from that, I came out after 11 rounds feeling pretty fresh.
Do you chill out though a little bit? Like how long do you spend away from the gym after a fight like that?
Like in terms of actually being out of the gym, maybe a week or two, something like that. But it's for me, training isn't just an in-camp thing. It's a all year, all round year kind of thing. Like I'm always ticking over. I'm doing something. Don't get me wrong. I'm not 24/7 in kind of fight camp mode, just going to the wall with it. But I'm always ticking over, always making sure I'm fresh, prepared, and ready. Because ultimately, if Usyk calls tomorrow and says, "Yep, we want to get it on in 2, 3 months or whatever," I need to be ready. I need to get going. So yeah, there can't be any hanging around.
We did speak to Joseph yesterday. He offered no excuses. Like anytime there was even an opportunity to say something, he repeated, I don't want to make any excuses. Much respect. He was as classy and professional as you would expect him to be. He did obviously say he would love the rematch. Are you open to that at some point? Would you like to fight him again? Is there any part of you that is interested in that?
Yeah, of course. I'd like to echo the same sentiment as well because look, Joe is a great guy, and I'd like to thank him as well for the opportunity because he didn't have to take that fight. I think everyone knows that he'd been on a great run and he was edging his way towards Usyk. So again, credit to him as a man and as a fighter, as a boxer, because he is one hell of a competitor. And yeah, look, I'd happily welcome the rematch. It was a fantastic fight. It was a great fight. I think that's one thing. The controversy over the stoppage aside, no one came away from that fight saying it was boring or it wasn't intriguing, wasn't interesting. It had, like I say, ebbs and flows all the way through. It had everything in that sense. So yeah, look, we'll see how this Usyk thing plays out. We'll see how that all goes. But I'd be happy to rematch him.
I don't know if you know this, you were locked in, but at the same time as your fight over in Abu Dhabi, another British heavyweight champion was fighting. He got poked in the eye. Did you happen to see that with Tom Aspinall?
Yeah, I saw some of it. I don't know the full details of everything that happened. Some people were mentioning bits to me after. I'm not a massive follower of UFC, but I
You know
did see
Tom?
the clips and bits. I don't know him. No, I haven't come across him.
Okay.
Which is a shame to be honest. But no, not as of yet.
He used to train with the Furies, and his father actually wants him to go into boxing in the relative near future. So I was wondering if maybe you thought that he would have any success or not, based on what you've seen or trained with him if you have in the past. But it was interesting to see him fight over there. And obviously, in your sport, you don't have to deal with those things, fingers in the eyes. You have to deal with other stuff as well, but not quite that stuff. Could I ask you before I let you go? Usyk has been so good, obviously at heavyweight and cruiserweight. When you see him fight, do you see holes that you would like to exploit? Do you see things in his game? Or do you not look at him that way just yet because he hasn't quite been on your radar yet?
Yeah, I haven't dug wrong. I haven't sat there and analysed or dissected kind of Usyk's fight style, whichever way. But I believe, look, it's heavyweight boxing, and anywhere in the game, I think I've proven if I'm in the fight, I'm on my feet, and there's breath in my lungs, I'm a danger to anyone, whether that be Alexander Usyk or whoever else. It's a dangerous game. So yeah, look, if the fight comes, me and the team will put something together. There's nothing to take away from him. He is a generational talent, but he's also not like unbeatable. There is flaws there. Don't get me wrong, they're extremely hard to exploit, but they are there.
It's a fan-friendly style, but is it sustainable? Like, would you like to have more like your rematch against Fraser Clark, like a quick one where you're not taking the type of shots that you're taking against Justice and Joseph here. I'm sure your family would agree as well.
Yeah, I think if you ask my missus or my family, my mum or anything like that at all, I think they'd very much all like the kind of Fraser 2 fight where it's over and done in a round. And look, me as well, if they can all go like that, then I'd happily take that. But there's heavyweight boxing and these boys aren't soft. They take a bit of work.
What's going to happen with Ipswich? Are they going to make a run here in the championship? What's going on? They're struggling a little bit. I can't speak.
Yeah.
Forrest is doing awful as well, so I can't really say much. But at least we're in the Premier League.
I was gonna say, because last time I was on here, you had a lot to say about Forest.
Yeah.
You boys aren't looking too good.
At least we're up with the big dogs, though, right? I mean, at least that.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, look, we're having a bit of a rocky start to things. It's not going exactly how everyone planned. I think there's that expectation when you drop down from the Prem that you're going to immediately fire back up. But I think it just proves how competitive the Championship is. Than some of them teams in there are class. So yeah, we're going to have to fight for it. But if I'm one bit of proof of us Ipswich boys, we know how to stick in for a fight.
I love that. Much respect. Means a lot, and I think it says a lot about you that you'd come on, given how vocal I was. Really appreciate the chat. Love watching you fight. Adored the fight, and have adored watching you over the years. So congratulations on all your success, and I hope you get that fight, and I hope it sells out Wembley, and you get everything that you have earned and deserved. Thank you so much, Fabio. All the best to you, and congrats again.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Okay, all the best. There he is, Fabio Wardley, now the interim WBO and WBA heavyweight champion, and the man who is next in line as a result of holding those two belts, unless Usyk just says, I'm not interested and I'm going to do something else. And if you ask me, I wanted to see Parker versus Wardley. Excuse me, I wanted to see Parker versus Usyk, and way more than Usyk versus Fury 3. And I now want to see Wardley versus Usyk way more than I want to see Usyk. I want to see Fury versus Joshua, and I want to see the rest of the division play out. Like, to me, there's no intrigue in seeing Fury versus... Those two fights were great, but he won them fair and square. There wasn't any controversy. He was the champion going into them, at least a unified champion, and let's move on with our lives. And every week it seems like he's back, he's not back. I'm talking about Tyson Fury here. Fabio, if you're unfamiliar, is a tremendous fighter, and that fight on Saturday was outstanding. As far as heavyweight boxing is concerned, it's the best that you can get. And his knockout of Fraser Clark in their rematch, their first fight, was a great fight as well. And a lot of people, including our friend Ariel Helwani, actually had it as their fight of the year. It was last March of 2024. But that was a split draw. This one was, I think it was on that October card. Right before we started. Was it the October card? Yeah, 2 days before Uncrowned started. The one with Beterbiev and Bivol won. That was the one where he knocked him out. You've definitely seen it. We actually talked to Brian Suter about it last year. And like his jaw got displaced and like something was popping out of his head. Fraser Clark, I'm talking about, because of how hard Wardley punches. He's now 20-0-1, the one being the first fight against Fraser Clark. It was a great fight. And I was kind of wondering, I was like, has he seen any of the comments or tweets? But again, I always try to be respectful. Look, he comes on. Other people, they don't come on. What are you going to do? What are you going to say?
Also, there's what's controversial about what you said, You thought the stoppage...
You've been here long enough. People take this personally. I mean...
For sure. But in this
Cyril's team is very mad at me. They're like, how dare you? How dare you? What have I said that's... I keep saying he didn't do it on purpose, but I still don't feel like intentional or unintentional is a thing. And I still feel like that should be a DQ. But I'm not saying that I thought he went in there to try and poke Tom in the eye or be dirty or anything like that.
Your commentary is not on Cyril, it's on the rules. It's a completely different thing. It has nothing to do with Cyril.
But people take it personally. You get messages.
Yeah, man. Wardley though.
What a gent. Can I tell you who he reminds me of?
Such a nice guy, but the last two fights.
Oh yeah.
Just absolutely down on the cards and summons it in late rounds. Like it's an impressive thing that is very rare to have that kind of...
No, he is right. Like, he is worth the price, whether it's pay-per-view or you're paying. He kind of reminds me of Robert Whittaker in how, like, nice, soft-spoken, gentle...
Always laughing, always smiling.
Yes, right?
That's also kind of vicious when they're in the arena.
That's the vibe that I got. And
Yeah.
he's got a great backstory. Was just a white collar boxer. I mean, no amateur career to speak of, and now
beating
on
Joseph Parker.
Yeah,
maybe
at the
fighting
O2.
Usyk.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's amazing. It's a really great story, and I don't like when the Queensberry guys asked me if I wanted him on. I said, yeah, of course. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.